my name is Rachel Herrera, a solution engineer here at Kubit. You've invested heavily in collecting your customer journey data, yet actionable insights may still feel out of reach. Kubit changes the game, connecting directly to your data warehouse to deliver transparent, trustworthy analytics with no black boxes and no waiting. Diving into Kubit, we're going to start our demo by looking at what we call a dashboard. And a dashboard is going to be a collection of the different reports that you can build in Kubit off of your own data warehouse. Every report here is going to be pulling live from your cloud data warehouse, and every time a report is executed or refreshed, the live data gets refreshed as well. Connecting data in Kubit is as simple as modeling it with our data modeler, connecting it to your warehouse, and building what we call schemas. Each schema can be custom based on what your team needs to see, and the data can be exposed as you'd like. All of the different data elements are stored within our dictionary and available within our different dropdowns. Now going back to our dashboard, let's take a look at some of the metrics that our Kubit coin business cares most about. Our primary KPI is what we call a % of daily transacting users, and this lets us know that we're driving meaningful action within our service. Our goal is 40%, and our first report here is going to display our primary KPI with a 40% goal reference line here across the middle. Every report in Kubit shows the SQL behind it so that you have full transparency on exactly how this different data and results are being pulled from your warehouse. As you can see, we've got several different report types. This top one here is what we call query, which is one of our most robust reports that lets you visualize data as a bar, line chart, even a combo, simple metric, table, etc. If I click into it, I'll be brought into my report builder, and we can see a little bit more about how this particular report was constructed. We're counting the unique users that purchased a security and dividing it by the unique users that did anything. And we're breaking it down by app so that we can understand how things are trending across our different services. If I go back into my dashboard, let's take a look at what this data is telling us. As we can see, over the past few days, we've had a pretty consistent number of users meeting our 40% goal. Our iOS audience continues to meet the goal. However, on 6.3, suddenly our Android audience drops to 11% per daily transacting users, which is pretty concerning. So let's see if on this dashboard we can uncover what might be happening here and how to triage it. Continuing to look, we can see acquisition analysis to understand different campaigns driving users to our site. And with this stacked bar chart, we can see pretty quickly that some of the campaigns like Bank with Friends and Top Up with Us are largely responsible for this influx of users, as they're taking larger shares of the pie here on these subsequent days. These may be areas to start, but let's understand the true impact of these users, because we know it's hurting our primary KPI, but does this happen with just new users or existing or both? As we continue our investigation, we can also look at some of our activation and engagement metrics using things like histograms and crosstabs. And all of this reporting here is pulling directly from your warehouse, built with our UI and no SQL needed. Now, the true power of Kubit is being able to investigate some of these numbers and not needing to ask an analyst to come help or somebody to write custom SQL to further explore. Tools like BI are pretty limiting here and kind of have a user asking, okay, what else, without needing to be able to come in and build it for themselves. So following that thread, let's see how we could be empowered to build some of our own insights using Kubit. Continuing, we can look at journeys and paths, but most importantly is this funnel here. My next question was going to be, are these users coming in and not purchasing, also not depositing? Because we know that making a deposit is step one, and finally purchasing securities within our service. This funnel is extremely helpful because it shows us a 3-step funnel of users on the main landing, making a deposit and purchasing a security, segmented by behavior, all users and new users. We categorize a new user as somebody who created their account within this time frame, and so in Kubit, you're actually able to create cohorts based on events that users have performed. Very quickly here, what we can see is our 39% conversion rate for new users is pretty strong. However, this 12% deposit conversion rate here is pretty abysmal. Now the challenge here is this is looking at data all time, so over the last 7 days aggregated. I want to understand how this has trended, and is this 12% new, or is it something that's always been there? Now going back to my previous point, I may, if in a previous life, had to ask an analyst or some BI developer to come and augment this report for me to give me some of those answers versus me doing it myself. In Kubit, all I would do is simply click into this and it takes me into my report builder. Now I'm able to change and manipulate this report to fit what I need without asking for help. And the great thing about this is that I can't break anything. The reports in Kubit are immutable, and once they're created, they can be iterated upon without affecting the underlying report. So in this example, I'm actually just going to change this to a daily grain so that I can see that trend over time as opposed to the all-time view that was originally given to me. When I click execute, I'm running a SQL query against my warehouse so that I'm sure to get back the most trusted data. As you can see, I've got my groups here, and here's my all user trend. We were consistently at about 19 to 20%, and then suddenly on 6.3, our conversion rate dropped to 8%. This is exactly what I was hoping to learn and uncover. So not only is it impacting our percentage of transacting users, it's also impacting our users making deposits. If I turn on our new user group, I don't see a similar downward trend. So this gives me comfort knowing that our new user acquisition funnel isn't broken. It's simply us re-engaging or recapturing existing users back into our service is not incentivizing them to do the actions we know drive value. I could take this report, copy the URL, and share it with members of my team so that we can investigate further. Or better yet, I could simply click into a data point and create a cohort of these users and export them to our different services, even inspecting them further to understand what else might be going on here. If I find something is truly wrong, I could create an incident that then surfaces to other users so that they can understand that something might be broken or a major outage occurred. Going back to my dashboard, I can continue to look at other metrics here, including time to convert and frequency. So how long is it taking users to go through this funnel? And are we seeing measurable impact here? As well as retention, understanding if doing actions like researching securities or setting up reminders improves retention for our users. This is also very powerful because now we're also segmenting based on behavior rather than just simply the data available. I hope this quick demo gave you a good understanding of some of the things that you can do in Kubit. We'd love the opportunity to give you a much longer, more customized one, so please reach out and let us know.